Hi, so today I'm gonna talk about my so far generative AI journey. So I started with coding almost 5 to 6 months back, and earlier I was doing the marketing stuff and all, but then I didn't saw a lot of scope in that particular domain, so I tried to switch. I started my computer science journey as a coder. I started not as a coder, but learning computer science. I started from the month of January, I guess. And in the first month, I just did with the fundamentals or the basics. Basics like what is computer, the minimum basic. I use ChatGPT for that, and uh, just just read about different concepts like what is CDNs, what is database, how we sort data inside a database, algorithms, networks, everything which comes under this basic line. After that, I started learning Python, and that also I did with ChatGPT only. And I guess that was my mistake. I should have done it with some YouTube videos, and then might have solved some questions related to Python and all. But now I see that's a better approach, because when we write development code or 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 a development type Python code, then it clicks us like what is required, what Python syntax is required, or what kind of Python problems we need to focus more on, or the Python topics we have to cover, because that gives us a sense like what we are using in this whole scenario, or in this whole coding, in what, in development kind of a code. So I started with learning Python, and I did it with the help of ChatGPT only, just with the basics, not knowing everything about Python, but just a simple thing. And then I started with Fast API. Doing Fast API was a bit tricky for me, because I was not knowing exactly how Python syntax worked, but somehow I did it while seeing the code, writing it, knowing the whole architect, how exactly this thing is happening, where it is happening, and how is it happening. My mistake, what I find right now, is I didn't wrote that code somewhere in my copy or note it down, because that would give me a more clear sense right now, the phase I am in. After that, I started with the generative AI part. Straight away, I started with the generative AI part, and I find it a bit interesting. A bit, not very interesting. I made very basic, simple projects. Uh, that part was very, very, very interesting, because I was actually making these AI bots or chat bots. You know, I was importing many things from LangChain. I started with LangChain, then I did LineGraph. So that was really a very fun journey, and an interesting part. Being a non-coder, from a non-coding background, building something which is, giving response using LLM, using API key to invoke LLMs, then based on our context, like what we want LLM to generate for us, I made couple of projects. And after that, what I found was, I was knowing everything, how everything is working, but I was a bit confused, and something was not clear. I found that after I completed my this fast API journey, then generative AI, some basics, just basic models and all. So I figured out that I'm not understanding the Python codes, the functions I am making. That realization came to me after a long time. When I started, uh, I was like, the basics I know, the basic projects I'd made. My brother was telling me like I should start working somewhere, but somewhere inside I felt that I still need to learn a lot. I'm just at the basic. So I took a course on Udemy on LangGraph and LangChain, and there the tutor made a lot of tools with the help of functions, and that was the core of those projects. Those projects were actually working on the tools, and the tools were actually the functions which we were wrapping with which we the functions we were making were acting as a tools. So there I realized that I need to work more on my Python skills. Like I need to learn more Python, I need to code more Python. That's something I need to figure out, like how will I do it. So I, sh- I went to YouTube, I saw some basic Python tutorials there, and that journey was a bit more interesting. Then I did all the Python coding part and everything. I made the notes, how everything is working and all. But there also, they were not exactly, I was not exactly solving the problems. I was just seeing the videos, okay, this is how the things work. These are the concepts inside Python and all. And that too I didn't complete. I just did, I guess, 80 to 90% of that course. And the last 10% was actually some technical thing. So I was a bit worried, a bit unsatisfied for myself. Like I am doing this, but I'm not getting how this thing is exactly working. So, like last month only, I figured out something. I went to ChatGPT. I told him that I'll be learning Python with you. We will start from the basics. We'll be solving questions. So what I did, I started solving the questions, the Python questions. That was the real gold mine. That was the part I was missing. I was not implementing, or I was not writing the code myself. I was not building the logic myself. So I made ChatGPT do it for me, like to prepare a lot of questions, a lot of questions I did. I even made a diary for that. It's kind of a thing, like every question I solved, I had that everything here. Like I just wrote every concept, I solved the questions, I wrote everything. So there I figured out like what I was lagging behind and how I was doing, like what was my workflow. My workflow was not good, or what can I say, my roadmap was not clear earlier. But trial error I did. I somehow did it. If I'm not getting also, then also I'm doing it. I'm not knowing how this function is working, what this function is doing, but I was doing it. I was not knowing I was doing it, but I was doing it. Whole architecture I was knowing, like how these things are actually working, how this RAG part is working, how LLM is generating the response, or what these memories are. So what's LangChain, what's LangGraph, what is embeddings. So I was knowing everything, but I was not knowing how to make an actually good model out of it. So still I am learning. Now I am doing a professional kind of a course which is a more in depth. I feel like still I'm not getting everything I'm doing, but yeah, now I know about 70 to 80% of the code base I'm doing. After I solved a lot of Python questions. After that I figured out, oh, this function is working like this. Oh, so this is the logic behind this function. Now the problem I'm facing is how is the logic working, how our tutor is thinking, like what's the architect is thinking in his mind and he's coding there, the logic, how he's building the logic in his mind. And I guess I'll also do it, but it'll take time for me. I guess a lot of projects I need to make on. First I should start from the basic one, I guess, and then more I know, like the more projects I work with, the more clients I work with, or the company I go, I guess I'll get a more clear exposure there. But being a non-coder and being someone who don't know how to code 5 months or 6 months back to the day-to-day I am, I guess it's more of a journey. Like you have to do it every day, you have to code every day, and you can figure it out if you are someone who want to start their who is like want to start their career in this computer science domain or this AI domain. If I can do it, you can do it too. But one thing you just have to keep in mind is you don't have to be demotivated. At some point of time you will feel like I'm not getting things. I too feel demotivated. I'd still feel demotivated at some point of time. But yeah, if you do things every day, like consistently, if you do it, you just give. And like I started from an hour or two, but today I do like 4 to 5 hours every day. Still, some days are bad, some days are good, but a good day is like 8 hours a day, and a bad day is like an hour or two. But I am consistent. So consistency is what I feel like can wins. Like it's more like a magic. Consistency is like a magic. If you do it every day, you will figure out at some point of day. Not on the first day you'll figure out, but on like the third month, like the 90-day, things will start clicking and all. So this is all from my side. Thanks a lot.